Welcome back, Tam Fam. We're talking with people today who are reaching out to help others in incredible ways, and that includes our guest right now, actor, podcast star now, and inspirational figure Jay Ellis, along with the host of Freeway Phantom podcast, journalist Celeste Headlee, who's dedicated her work to solving the murders of 6 young girls tied to the so-called Freeway Phantom, a suspect who has never been caught. I am so intrigued by this idea that several companies, Tenderfoot TV, Black Bar Mitzvah, and iHeartMedia have all doubled the reward for any information leading to the arrest and conviction of the persons responsible. Jay, in total, the reward is now $300,000. You would think people would tell what they know for free.
Yeah.
But we know that rewards do bring new leads.
Yeah. We want there to be closure for these families. And to your point, we understand that rewards are motivation for people at times, although the motivation should be keeping our girls safe, keeping our community safe.
Yeah.
But in this case, we realized that at all costs, we wanted to figure out an answer for these families.
You're also working on a scripted series about the murders.
Yeah.
That's always also very difficult because, you know, I've done a crime show for many, many years. Families have to reopen that pain when these stories are told. But this has a reason, to your point. It's not just to relive trauma of these young girls and the families. It really is about justice.
It's really about justice. It's also about, Romaine Jenkins is a superhero.
Yeah, the
I just want to be
detective.
very, very clear, the detective. She's 83 years old. She's a superhero. She was the first Black detective in Washington,
One
D.C.
of the first.
One of the first, and the first woman.
First one.
Officer,
First
sorry,
officer. That's okay. You have, for the past 2 years, been going through these boxes, the documents. You've been interviewing investigators like Detective Jenkins. Do you believe this person will now be caught with this new attention?
I suspect he's not alive. But listen, especially with Jay Ellis and Tenderfoot TV, the investment they've put in, they commissioned the first ever scientific profile of the killer. And we know, after talking to so many people in the community, to a person, they all said they didn't talk to the police, right? The police was almost entirely white. They made some horrifyingly racist and stereotypical assumptions about these girls and about their families and what kind of parents they were, and they didn't speak to them. So yes, I think there's a good possibility that there is somebody out there that knows something.
It is an incredible podcast. To your point, the first commissioned scientific criminal profile of this individual. Before I let you leave, what can you tell us about that profile?
Well, I can tell you it's nothing like what the police had thought the killer, was. We're talking about a time when the phrase serial killer didn't exist. They didn't know what this type of killer was like. And so this is a profile that is more realistic, and it might spark somebody's memory. Somebody might hear that and say, actually, that reminds me of someone.
Jay, we always talk about pivots in life.
Yeah.
You know, I showed the handsome photo of you from Insecure and the pilot in the movie that brought movies back over the summer. I'll go back to this. At this height of your life, as you said, with your own child, when you're on red carpets and you're hotter than ever, that you make this pivot to pause, to help other people. It's fantastic. I mean, that's a simple word for it, but it's inspiring.
Thank
so
you.
good for you,
Thank you
and all of those around you for putting this together. Thank you. Celeste, thank you for your tireless work. As a journalist, you're an inspiration. To learn more, you can listen to the full Freeway Phantom podcast on the iHeartRadio app and across all podcast platforms. Ad-free listening and early access is available on Tenderfoot Plus. And if you or someone you know has any information related to the Freeway Phantom murders, contact the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. Also, go to our website for more information on the cases.